Hello everyone and welcome to the Backstick podcast. I'm Jamil Roberts and I'm joined here as usual by Dom Okus. Dom, how you doing, pal?
Good, bro. Good, bro. Honestly, I'm in Texas right now for the listeners in Austin, and it's freezing. Like, it's so cold. I'm talking like -5 degrees Celsius, and I'm not happy about it, to be honest. Yeah, it's freezing. It's absolutely freezing. It's not meant to be this cold in Austin. But apart from that, it's all good, and obviously, really looking forward to this episode.
Yeah, and before we get into it, before I introduce the guest, I think it's important that we get across that if you're here, it's because you've been here for a while. You've listened to a few of our episodes by now. You know what we're about, and you know that you're a fan of the show. So if you haven't already, go click subscribe on the YouTube at the Backstick Pod, at the Backstick Pod on all socials. Follow, drop a like, and drop a subscribe, because this sort of content is coming out every week. We're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. So anyway, let's get into this one, and this one's a good one. It's close to the heart. We got three English boys on the pod today, and it's my pleasure to introduce the captain of the Marshall University men's soccer team, Mr. Alex Bamford. Bamford, how are you, mate?
Thanks for having me, boys. Yeah, feeling good. You know, stressful time being a free agent now after graduating, but nice to hop on and speak to the guys for a bit.
Yeah, mate, pleasure. It's good to have you on, mate. I know we spoke about it when I popped up to Huntington back in. When was that? I think that was back in November.
Yeah.
And obviously you're coming off. You and the boys are coming off an impressive run, and I'll be the first to admit it, mate. I honestly didn't expect you boys to make it as far as you did, but we'll get onto that later in the show. But just a little bit about you, mate. So obviously we're going to take it back to pre-Marshall here and just kind of talk about where you're from and what got you there. So I know Dom's got a few words to say about this. So obviously you've got London listed as where you're from on all the profiles.
Go on. Let's hear it then.
I'll pass it over.
Let's talk about it. So obviously I was seeing, reading up on you. You went to school in Tonbridge, school and stuff, and then you played for a few like Kent-based teams.
Okay.
But we're seeing that it says you're from London. So I just wanted to know, Tonbridge is not necessarily London. So, I wanted to know kind of where you were born and where you grew up.
I didn't expect that to be the first question, Getting checked about where I'm from. Oh, that's funny, man. I'm from London, I promise, bro.
Is it one of those ones where it's like close to London, so we just say London, or are we actually from London?
No, I swear I've lived in part. Well, I might defend myself here.
I've got him.
He's so caught off guard right now, isn't he?
Straight off the back.
Yeah, I've not even warmed him in. I'm just on him. I'm on him. Where?
Straight away.
Tell me your postcode was.
No. SW15. I've lived in London all my life, but
okay.
Seven Oaks, Kent. It was close to my school, and my friends were playing there, so it just made sense. And it was like 45-minute drive. So yeah, I swear I am from London. It's not just for the socials.
For context, for anyone who's listening, obviously there's a big debate about what's considered London. People who are from the fringes of London get very touchy when you say they're not from London. So I just give Alex a bit of banter there. But he said SW15, so I'll give it to him.
SW15. Yeah. Jamil, I got a question for you, Jamil. When you're speaking to new people in America, London's easy to say, but did you say did you just say London just to make it easy for them, or because you're not trying to describe down south to them,
Listen,
they don't know what that is.
If girls asked if I was from London, the answer was yes every time.
Yeah, I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that. You know.
No,
Really,
to be honest with you, the general shout for me is Bristol. Bristol's
Okay.
it's about 45 minutes from home, from mum and dad's,
Yeah,
but
so-
most of my mates are from there. A few of the lads are living there now, so that's if I was to be in the city, it would be in Bristol, Bath as well. That's same distance away. But if I'm telling anyone I'm from Somerset, then they're looking at me like
Yeah,
I've just
yeah,
spoken
yeah.
a foreign language. So
But did they even know Bristol or Bath though? To be fair.
no.
You say it's outside of
Yeah.
London. You say like 45 outside
Oh,
London,
literally, that's the classic one there, isn't it? They go, so how far is that from
Yeah.
London?
right? Yeah, yeah.
I don't
yeah.
know, 2 hours?
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, so close.
It's closer.
Is that not at all?
Fucking opposite
Oh,
side
no.
of the country.
Oh, it's crazy.
Do you know what? It's so
Amazing.
funny because all of us have got the same stories, haven't we? Like,
Yeah,
especially
from
being
practice.
English, everyone's had the same conversation so many times, whether it be with professors, whether it be with like just people on campus, whether it be with girls. Like, everyone's had the same conversation. That, where are you from? Is it from London? Oh, I've been to London, or I've got a friend who his uncle lives in London, and you just
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
sit there and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know my friend? My friend, he went on a gap year there for 6 months in London.
Yeah.
And they just name
yeah.
drop a random friend, and you were supposed to know who that is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Madness.
Terry. Yeah, that's my
Absolutely.
boy, man.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah.
You're never gonna meet a Terry in America, by the way.
Yeah. Never. Never.
Right. Well, I'm glad we got that straight. He is from London, everyone.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
There we go.
Okay. So what you said you played in Kent and whatnot. So is that so you didn't play for an academy or anything growing up? I assume you weren't involved in any clubs in London then.
No, so my parents wanted me to stay in school. They didn't really want me going down the academy route. And then, getting chucked out at 18, 17 with no kind of thing to fall back on. Which at the time, it's like, the cool kids played academy. You wanted to play academy and go on trips and leave school and go out of lessons early and that. But my parents went, no, you stay in school. And I think looking back on it, it's probably the right decision, You see a lot of boys played. Louis Instraw played Marshall Me. You probably played with Louis.
Yeah. Louis a ledge, man. Yeah, I like him.
Ledge man, and he played at Chelsea for 10 years. Really, really good player. And he just told me after he got dumped out of academy, it's like you just lose the love. And he's 19, 20, should be going towards his prime years, and the academy system just sucked the life out of him. So I'm kind of happy in hindsight that I didn't go down that route. So thanks to them.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know when you were just saying that then? The only thing, and you mentioned obviously leaving lessons early, it reminded me immediately of the meme of when it's the feeling of when you get called up for school football and you've got like Ronaldo suiting up at Ballon d'Or and you're like, how you feel leaving class?
Yeah, it's the best, isn't it?
Amazing times. Amazing
Feel
times.
like a boss.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
because
miss it. Honestly, I miss it.
oh mate, 100%, man. Like they were. That was the one thing that I missed out on, and it wasn't because I played for an academy or anything in England. But I don't know, Don. I don't know if you did either. We've never actually covered this, but my school didn't do school football, and like my school year was full of like lads that were at Yeovil Academy at the time. I was down at Plymouth. There was boys that had played for Bristol City. Like in the past, like good players, and like we still speak about it now, like me and my boys, that like if we had a school football team, we would have cleaned up in the Southwest.
That's weird. They just didn't have a team. That's crazy. No, my school definitely had a team. Like school football in London, especially like years 7 to like 9, when academy's not as serious, so all the academy boys are still playing school football, is like a big thing. So in East London, the big team was a school called St Bon's, which is basically like an all-boys school in Newham, where like Ledley King went, Jermaine Defoe went. So you can imagine the type of boys. So like they've got like 2 boys that play for Arsenal, 2 boys that play for Palace, boy that plays for Barnet, whatever. Remember playing them in year 8, and we got boxed 9-1. absolute spanking. Like someone got chipped from the keeper got chipped from the edge of the box. Like they just fly past all our players. Madness. So yeah, like school football was big in London, like big business, and my school was very good, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a big deal, man. Like, there's bragging rights on that. So
Yeah,
literally.
bragging rights is the perfect way because I tell you what, like even imagine I can imagine it obviously being from London, like you boys, sorry, being from London. There might be on like another school team, one of your teammates from like the academy. So then like you're not only like bantering them like on the pitch, then when you go in train and say like there's 2 Palace lads, for example, then you're giving them shit before training or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can't escape it.
Yeah. Nah. You
Exactly.
can't escape it, bro. Yeah, man. Those were
Yeah,
the
so
days,
what was
bro.
just to kind of click into that a little deeper, like, and just relate it back to obviously getting recruited to America. So was that something pushed by the school, or was that pushed by your parents, or just an avenue that you knew you could go down to obviously go down, like, you know, doing what I guess in America would call high school in the UK? Was that sort of who was that pushed by for you to play football in the US?
So, I don't know if you know ISFA. I played ISFA for a bit.
Yeah, I played ISFA for a couple of years as well. Yeah, nice.
They used to have these American guys coming down and doing little talks about it. And you kind of turn your nose up at it because you're like, oh, America football doesn't quite go. And then I knew a couple of guys that went over and played, and they gave me good reviews. And then I was thinking about the uni route in England, and I just wasn't for me. Like, you can play good level, but it's not really. I mean, you guys know how it is in America. It's like the big thing, right? It's football, and you kind of got academics on the side, but it's so professional, the environment. Whereas I think in England, if you go there, you play, it's more like a social thing, and it just wasn't for me. So I was going to and fro for a bit and thinking, oh, like, I haven't got an academy background, so it's gonna be tough to go to a top place. But I knew how good I was, so I thought if I go in there to a good place and I work my way up, I'll be just fine. And I went through a company called ASM, and they were good to me. But again, like, they've got every kid going to them saying, I want to play D1, I want to play at Clemson, all these schools, you know. And they were giving me some schools where I was like, it's probably just better to stay in England. And then Marshall came along. Petzer, you know, you played under Petzer. Petzer phoned me up.
Shout out Petzer, man, legend. Petzer Ivanovic.
Shout out Petzer, legend, for sure. And he phoned me up and we had a good conversation, and the program at the time was doing really well. I think you guys went back-to-back conference champions, and you were in the Sweet 16, or you were early rounds of the nationals. And I was like I'm just gonna go for it. Like, they said to me, you know, well, I had the impression at least I wasn't gonna be a big name when I go there, but that was fine with me. Like, how hard can it be going to America playing with guys that, like, they'll soon realize that I'm a good player, you know? And I took the gamble and I signed, and then you guys went and fucking won the national championship. And then looking back on it, there's no way they would have picked me up if I signed 3 months, 4 months later, because the program was on a different level, and they're only looking at academy boys now and the best of the best. So my CV wasn't there, but I'm happy. The timing was perfect and worked out okay. So yeah, again, shout out Petzer, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Mate, that's mad, you know, because we talk
Unreal.
about, like, timing is everything, especially in football, like in life in general, but in football it's crazy. And so I didn't know that. So you committed before, like, the nationals was even won?
Before the nationals even won, and I was like, okay, let's go. Like, this is the best team that want me. Let's do it. But for sure, I know I just said it, but there's no way they would have looked at my CV, because I don't have anything. I just have my word. And there was no way they would have taken me if I signed 3-4 months later. So, as you said, timing's everything in football, and it worked out well. So, yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You can just say to your friends and family that, oh, you're going off to America, like, what's the team like? It's like, yeah, they just won the national championship.
Literally, man, literally. Man. Yeah, you're welcome.
Sick.
Perfect timing, man.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. That's like, and that's, to be honest with you, that's that's nice for me to hear as well, because, you know, I like it when English boys go to Marshall because I keep an eye on the program all the time. I watch whenever I can, but you keep half an eye on the people that have kind of taken the same route as you, and obviously my story with the program was one of like growth in general, and I left the program in a better place than when I went there. So obviously then to give off the back of maybe our success, giving opportunities to players like yourself, that's nice for me to hear as well, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even after to most games where I was playing in my time at Marshall, English boys would come up and you have that chat with the English boys after the game and they said, oh, where did you play academy? Like, I was at United or I was at City and that, and I was like, I played non-league for a bit, bro, and just happened at the right time. So, and they're like, no way, because now you know how it is in these top schools. If they're gonna recruit players from England, they're taking the best kids. So, as you said, man, timing was just perfect.
Yeah.
Just to double click into that quickly, did Petsa say to you, kind of, you're gonna have to come in and earn your place, and you might not play for the first couple of years? Like, was that the conversation, or was you expected to go in? Because I know, again, when they recruit these international players, you're expected to come in and kind of make an impact instantly. So what was your situation, given you didn't have that like massive sexy background,
No, it was, I mean, all the coaches say the same stuff to you really, but you can tell by the way they say it. They all say, oh yeah, you're going to play if you work hard, all this stuff, but you can tell by the way they say it if they really mean it or not. And I mean, credit to him, he sold the program to me, but when I got there, I knew I was going to go and be a small fish in a big pond, and it felt like that. Like, Chris probably didn't know who I was. Like, I probably had to introduce myself, and Chris was like, who's this English kid, whatever. And that was fine with me. But it was like that, bro. Like, I came in, I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, after a couple of weeks, I'll be, honestly, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be the best player there. And then I go there, I look around at training, I swear the first session, like, it was some transition game, and had Max Schneider like swearing at me like in German. I'm like, fuck this, mate, this is different level. Like, if you do a bad pass, he's shouting some German stuff in your ear, and then you got Ollie Semler, like everything's perfect, and you're like, yeah, damn, like the standards are top here. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So it kind of changed pretty quickly.
Yeah, some of the characters, obviously we didn't play together because I was the only player from that team that left right after the championship. But I can attest as well and back up what he's saying. The standards were high. There was no room for error. And I think, to be honest with you, I think that's why we had success, because you had people like Max, Ollie, Pedro, even going back the team, like Nate Dos Santos, Jan Eric,
Vinny,
and then you've got the magic men like Vinny and Vitor.
Vitor, bro. Vitor, next level, bro. I mean,
ridiculous, isn't he?
Talked about him much on the show, but he was the one guy when I came in, I was like, fuck, I don't want to go anywhere near that kid because I know he's skinny. He'll skin me.
Literally,
those ones as a defender. Yeah. Like, this is my zone. Like, I'll just shadow him on to the next man. But I wasn't going anywhere near him, bro. No chance.
Nah, mate. Vitor's next level, mate. I remember when he came in. When did he come in? I think he come in 2020, and it was 2019. He come in, and it was like he's just different. Like, immediately, first couple of sessions, you're like, who is this freak who's just been released from Sao Paulo, and why is he not playing in the Prem?
Yeah, for sure. you know, he had those like bandy legs. You know, the footballer legs, like the bandy legs. Yeah. And he was small, but he was also strong. And it was just like,
he was like that. He was like that skinny strong Dom. Like had absolutely nothing to him, but you go shoulder to shoulder with him, or he's like putting his body between him and the ball, and he's just like a rock.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a Kante frame, or like a Ramirez, where like they're skinny, but every time you see them getting about the pitch, they're just bouncing off people. You're like, what? How?
Yeah, and them play. I mean, with Vitor as well, you just got lads chopping his ankles as well, because that's the only way that you can stop him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a few scars from you as well, mate.
I didn't get that close to him, mate.
Shadows. All right. Well, I guess we'll get into sort of the meat and gravy of it. What especially I know the Marshall fans out there will want to hear from sort of more of an insider perspective. So obviously, just coming off the 2024 season, you boys had one hell of a run. I think I think you were unlucky not to win the whole thing, but even to get to the position you did, I think every alumni, first and foremost, and every Marshall fan out there couldn't be prouder of the run that you had. And I think it'd be better if we kind of chime in every now and then, but kind of just talk us through game by game. Obviously, you come off the WVU game, and then you go on after that into the tournament, and then so remind me who was the first game in, I'm talking NCAA tournament, not the conference tournament, but remind me who was the first team that you played against there?
Furman.
Yeah, so you had a seed, and how many home games did you end up getting? Was it the first two?
First two, but it was Furman or UNC. So we were like, shit, we're gonna play UNC in the first round. And, I mean, that in itself is like, there's no way I'm gonna end my college career in the first round of the national tournament. So that was like, I can't lie, that was in the back of my mind. And then we went Furman, then we beat NC State, who beat Georgetown to get there, and we thought we were gonna go away to Georgetown, which I kind of wanted because they're a good seed. They were a lot better when you played, Jamil, but the last 2 years they haven't been too good, and I thought they were quite generous with the high seeding, so I wanted to go there and beat them, because I know you guys went there, right? And it was tough, no?
Yeah, that was in our day. That was the toughest game of our run. That Georgetown team had a lot of talent, and they won the whole thing the year before, so they had a lot of returners. But I know the coach down there historically has played good football as well. So I think he very similar to Chris in that they look to play football as opposed to college ball.
Yeah. So it was those all NC State. NC State won. Really good team, good physical team, and we managed to get through them. And then you're kind of starting to map your way through the tournament. Everyone's saying a game at a time, but I mean, everyone's mapping their route and seeing who we're going to play next. And then we had SMU away, that was something, man. I don't know if you watched the game, but it got postponed that the day before. And then we had it the next day. Probably the scrap. That reminded me of back home playing Sunday football, just stoppage every couple minutes, people dive on the floor, fouls, everything. The game, I swear, felt like it was 200 minutes because it got stopped every other minute, and managed to get through them, and then we're in the College Cup, and I think Ohio State smashed it this year. Credit to them, number one seed, they did really well. The left winger they got is proper player, won the Matt Carman, but we played them every spring in my 4 years, and they never got near us, never gave us a problem, and their team was exactly the same. So we're thinking, I'm telling the boys, look, number one seed, but we played them before, and it's the same kind of team. So let's not give them too much respect. We know how good we are. So let's go match it. And then, yeah, man, the College Cup special. It's like a whole different tournament. And credit to the guys at NCAA. They do the things well, and the College Cup was definitely special. And I always knew we were going to beat Ohio State. As I said, we beat them a couple times in the spring, and I felt like if we got a goal, they wouldn't score. And I don't know if you've seen the goal, straight from a goal kick, pretty direct.
Yeah. Tarek finally getting on the score sheet.
Finally, mate. We always tell him save your goals for the end of the season. That's okay,
Oh mate, just to kind of interject there, Dom. So I kind of alluded to earlier on that. So I went back and I visited the boys towards the back end of the season, And I actually trained the day before they played WVU. And after training, like me and like 4 or 5 of the lads, we just stayed behind and we just did some shooting after. And Tarek was one of them. And I obviously I don't know. This is the first time I've met most of the boys. But yeah, they the lads were just bantering the kid, like, because he kept scoring in the shooting. and they were saying, like, Tarek, why can't you just do this on a Saturday? Like, and then that's why like I was actually so buzzing when I saw that he scored, because like I'd seen it firsthand, the lads absolutely hammering him.
Mate, he deserved it, mate. He deserved it.
Yeah, he's a good player, man. He works his arse off as well.
He does. And he came from ETSU and got top goal scorer the last 2 years, so we all knew he could score goals. It was just getting the first one in, and then you knew the rest were going to come. So, and the guy got assists for us for days, so he gave us something. So credit to him. He kept working hard, and he got the goal when it really mattered. We beat Ohio State, and then, bro, Vermont is unseeded. So you go into that game thinking we weren't complacent at all. Like, there's not one part of me that thinks we were complacent, but we were confident. We knew it was our time now, and we don't really talk too much about the regular season, but that was all forgotten about. Like, postseason, we hadn't lost to a team since September. We lost some penalties. We lost, we lost some pens, and that was it. We hadn't lost it since September. So we kind of had this invincibility about us, you could say. And, we knew that, we have Lineker up top, we have Tariq there, we have Haruri who was coming in, and this guy is special. Like, watch out for him the next couple of years. I'm sure he'll tear it up. And we knew if we scored, then we would be just fine, because we've been holding on to leads really well. And, the difference between this team and Marshall and maybe years before is we probably didn't have the quality to play exactly how Chris wanted last year, because we lost some really good players. But we were okay with that, and we were okay with mixing it up and playing a bit direct when we had to, and a bit low risk. And that was a problem in regular season. We were trying to play Marshall football, and we didn't really have the Marshall players, if that makes sense. Not to dig anyone out, but it just wasn't clicking. Like, we were trying to bounce off the 6 from the keeper and do all this fancy stuff, and teams were pouncing on the errors, and we were conceding way too many goals. And then there was a shift where we went more direct. We played more in the opposition half, and we cut down the errors, and it was a different team, bro. Like, I probably had more possession in every single game in my Marshall career up until the last 4 or 5 games of the season, when it really mattered, and that kind of shows like how we just changed, adapted. There's nothing wrong with going long and playing like that. We just adapted to the players we had, and it worked, bro. It's bittersweet talking about the final and everything that happened, because we did do really well, but finals are there to be won. So definitely bittersweet, but proud of the boys, because honestly, that team in September and October, I was like, there's no way my college career is going to finish like this. And you know how it is as an international, your last year, you got to kill it. And I know all the boys are thinking the same. Like, if we just bomb out like this, no one's talking about us, our names aren't out there, it's going to be tough to find a team. So credit to the boys. We stuck together, and we went through some tough patches. The Georgia State game, I don't know if you know what happened in the Georgia State game, but that was a low point in the season. We were 2 goals up with 5 minutes to play away at Georgia State. We shipped 2 goals in 3-4 minutes. That can't happen, and that was a low point. But sometimes you need those low points to learn some more about the team, and it helped us in the long run. So all happened for a reason.
Yeah, mate. I think you've talked us through it perfectly. Yeah, to be honest, because I think you were very, very real about it as well, if I'm being truthful, because I alluded to at the beginning there that, I personally never expected this from the group. Not that I didn't think it was a talented group. I just, from what I'd seen throughout the year, there was just errors. There were, they were unforced, that were uncharacteristic of the players that were in the team. I knew what these players were capable of. I've watched you all play. but it was like uncharacteristic. So, one thing that you said there, which, for the listeners that aren't familiar, or maybe for lads that want to go to college or just fans of college soccer, you talk about playing the Marshall way. So what is that? What is that? That style, that sort of thing that's become what Marshall's known for now, that Chris has embedded. So just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Chris and Josh have done a great job with really implementing the style, and Marshall's known for this. Even some of the coaches I've spoken to in the championship and everything, they know Marshall, and they know what we're about. I would describe it as high possession. He wants a lot of control, and I think a good line that I always take from Chris is 95-5. If you can play 95% of the time, let's play. If it's 5%, let's not play. So, I mean, that's kind of how much he valued playing with the ball, and everything that comes with it. Counter pressing. That counter pressing was a big thing for me, because you think as a centre back, when you're up the field, you got them in their own half, you can kind of relax. But bro, Chris wanted you on the striker, so as soon as the ball's turned over, you're there, and we can win the ball back again. And then small things like that, waiting. I mean, my girlfriend watches the games, and she was pulling her hair out watching us play last season, because we would stand on the ball and wait for the team to come to us, and it's just like, it's almost insulting, we're 3-4-0 up, and we're not going to pass the ball until you come get the ball. So last season especially was Marshall football. The way we played, we had 60-70% possession all the time. He compared it to Brighton, like he did a lot of stuff on De Zerbi and how De Zerbi wanted to play. It was like a 4-4-2 box midfield, and the patterns were all very planned out. Everything we had was a pattern from the training ground. There wasn't any freestyle stuff until maybe you got into the final third, and it was winger 1v1. But everything to get to that moment is a pattern that you've done. If the winger closes you from this side, you're going to bounce through the six. Like, everything was a pattern, and it was hard because you had to really pay attention in video, and video is long, man. Video is long.
Oh, mate, don't worry, I've been there.
Yeah, bro.
Chris Grassie video sessions, man.
No,
get your
Josh
cup of tea, get comfortable, and sit there and listen.
I don't know if you had any in your day, but we had a couple snoozes, bro. And when Chris catches you out sleeping, bro, you didn't have any in your day. Oh, bro, we had a couple.
I mean, Milo must have at some point, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember Milo used to come and put his hood really high up. I kind of like put his head like this, so he couldn't really see his eyes or not. And I know he was definitely sleeping off, But yeah, but that was the worst, when you look to your left and you see someone snoozing off, because if Chris catches him, it's like, it's awkward. Yeah.
Well,
what would he do? Even some of the new boys.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Chris, man. Like, Chris won't get angry unless he needs to be angry, and if you're sleeping in video, like,
yeah, he's got a switch.
Cuss you out. Yeah, he's got a switch, and that switch is scary.
And I think, I mean, he's Newcastle born and bred. Yeah, he's been in the States and around Canada for a long time, but he is Newcastle through and through. And when he loses it, he's gone. There's no coming back. There's no coming back to earth. Until he's got everything out. Because, like you said, he's very mellow most of the time. He's very chilled. He believes in what he does and who he's brought in to do the job.
Yeah.
But it's like he suppresses all this pent-up aggression sometimes. So when it comes out, it's like a dragon breathing fire.
It's crazy. And sometimes you can see it coming as well. In video, there's a couple small things that, they get on his nerves. You can kind of see him like talking through it, and he's kind of like, why did this happen? And then it will just explode. And sometimes as a defender, he'll be watching the clips, and you're like, fuck, I hope he doesn't have that one clip where I get skinned or I'm not running back, because this would be the worst time, And I swear a couple times.
That's everyone, mate. In the game itself as well, you go, oh, mate, I'm going to get called out for that 100%.
Or a set piece, like he's big on his set pieces, and if you lose your man in set pieces, you're praying that they skim over it. But the worst is when Jamil, Carl was on set pieces this year, and if he used to love reloading the clips, and if I missed a header or lost my man, I'll be like, please just skim over it, Carl, and he's there like replaying it like the third time, and Chris is like, I can tell he's about to explode, you know. So Carl's the worst for that, man.
Funny. No, it's always funny when you're going through film and you've done something wrong. I remember when I was in college, I think it was my junior year, so it's the year we won the conference, and we played against Lockhaven, who is in the conference next to us. And obviously I played centre half. Like, I used to be a centre midfielder, I got converted into a centre half. So I'm not on this, like, the ball's coming, I'm trying to bring it down.
Yeah.
Like, this clip, I'm trying to bring it down. Like, everything I'm trying to think feet, like, I've got a bit of like, I'm driving up from the back, whatever. I remember the ball's come, it's bounced, and I've tried to just like bounce and like volley it, basically. Shanked it, gone to their team, and now it's risking like 2v2. One of my players has been skinned, they've scored, and we've lost 1-0. Now, this team, I think we had probably 22 shots, 14 on target, something like that. So, like, we just couldn't score. We're all over them, but obviously we end up losing 1-0. Then we've had the film, then 3 days later. Oh my God. He's played the clip about 7 times.
Oh my God.
He's maybe played it twice, not said anything, just played it and not said anything. You know that one where he just played it?
Yeah.
There, and played it again. Yeah. Then he's analysing it, like saying all the things. I was like, the whole session was just digging me out, basically. Like, we've hit the post from 5 yards out. We've missed 3 1-on-1, but I'm getting digged out. And it's like, most of the time it works, right? Most of the time we was known from like, we're in trouble and I'll just drive like through the team and get us out of trouble. So it works most of the time. When it doesn't work, that's shocking. So I think we can all attest to a time in video where we've just been absolutely dug out long.
Yeah. Bro, sleepless nights, bro. I swear, sleepless nights after games.
It's happened to the best of us.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, that's so funny, man. I think it's we said it at the beginning, right? Like, everyone's got the same stories, and that was about English players in the UK. But footballers in general have all got the same stories, haven't they? Like, 100%. You know, like, you're going to get dug out by the manager, or if this manager's crazy, or if this manager can lose his head, blah, blah, blah. Like, we've all got the same stories. We could go on about this for hours, couldn't we?
Yeah, for sure, man.
But I think that's a good time to sort of round us off and move on. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with this, but this has become the famous and a very popular segment of the pod. But this is where I pass it over to Dom, where he's going to take Alex Bamford through extra time on the Backstick podcast.
Let's go.
I'm starting to love this section, you know. Like, Jam, I feel like I'm really starting to get into my groove. Like,
you're owning it, mate. That's this is. I might as well mute myself now, mate. It's yours.
Like, on the Instagram and the YouTube, they're starting to call me Steve Harvey with a skin fade. They're starting to call me like Black Noel Edmonds, Black Paddy McGuinness. Like, the way that I'm hosting is mad. So here's what we do. Every time on the extra time, we take our players through 4 questions. The first question I have for you is, who is the best player you've played with?
Easy, bro. Matthew Bell. I don't want to say it because it will go straight to his head, and I'll probably clip it on Instagram and post it somewhere. But that kid is different gravy, bro. He is different gravy, bro. And I remember he had this little, you know, on Instagram where how you can have your story highlights. He had a whole one just for training clips where he's rinsing players. And I featured, bro, and I swear, after training, I was like, Matthew, I swear to God, if you post that, you're dead tomorrow. I swear you're dead tomorrow. And then it gets to like 8 or 9 o'clock that day, and I'm just chilling. I'm like, oh, thank fuck that prick didn't post it. And then I get a notification on my phone, tagged Matthew Bell, tagged you in his story. I swear to God, I knew exactly what it was.
It's so funny. So tell us a little bit about him. Like, why is he the best player you picked? Why was it such an easy choice?
This kid is naturally so gifted at football. It's a joke. and it's frustrating at the same time. I told him this a million times because off the field, he's a menace. Like Milo had his time and did his shit, but he was way worse than Milo. Like way worse than Milo. Like this guy I remember we had a preseason game, and this guy was in Sharkies until 5 a.m. in Sharkies, bro. Sharkies, for you, if you don't know, Dom, is like the club in Huntington, you know?
Right,
And
yeah.
Day before a game, 5-6 a.m., we report at like 7:38. So this guy's probably didn't sleep. He rolls up to the game. He has a hot dog in his hand, and everyone's having their like, everyone's having granola and bananas and that. He's got a hot dog in his hand. He's probably still bopping to the music last night, and he goes and scores 6 goals, bro. He scores 6 goals in the friendly, bro.
Oh, fuck up. No way.
I swear, bro. I'll never forget it, bro. Never forget it, bro. I looked at him and I was like, oh, I swear, like, if I had your ability, bro, like, I wish I had your ability, because off the field, menace. I think he's doing a lot better now, but this guy, he was on Australian body clock. He was playing Football Manager until 7 a.m, turning up to training at 8. Like, he just wouldn't sleep, doing crazy stuff, bro. And fair enough, he's a good kid though, like, got a lot of love for him. But ability-wise, rapid, like the quickest player I've ever played against, and he's small, and he has the same kind of thing as Vitor. Like, he was strong, you couldn't get him off the ball, but you know those players where they can run, they can dribble the same speed they can run at, and he was never out of control of the ball, and he just used to spin players so easily, bro. And like following him in training, it's just like, what do you do? Because if you get too tight, he's going to turn you, but if you stand off, he's going to turn and then just fucking run around you. So it was a tough one. So a couple of times left one on him, but yeah, no, that kid.
Like the hot dog story is rattling me.
Yeah, bro. I swear, he rocked up to training. I was eating my granola and yogurt and stuff. I turned to my right. This guy looks like he hasn't slept. He's got a hot dog in his hand.
Oh man,
that's unbelievable. So I've never heard that story. That is so good.
Yeah, bro. This guy is
that's funny. Right, we'll keep going then. Who's the best player you've played against?
Oh, best player I played against. Joe Haig. Joe Haig back home. He was a good player. I remember that was schoolboy days, and he was playing at Chelsea at the time. And we're like 3-0 down at half time. It's a cup game, like 2 evenly matched teams, and we're 3-0 down at half time, but we're playing well, like we can get back in it. And I'm giving some team talk, and I'm like, boys, like we can get back in it. Like, don't worry, we're playing well. I looked to my left, and our centre back's crying because the guy's just scored a hat trick against him, and he's in tears, like he doesn't want to play anymore. And that kid was special. Yeah, striker from Chelsea. I don't know where he's playing now, but that stuck with me. Like, he made our centre back cry at half time. So really bad.
Wow.
He's
reduced a player to tears.
To tears at half time, you know. It's 45 left. Yeah.
I actually feel sorry for him. I don't know his name, but I really feel sorry for you, mate.
Marcus, if you're watching this, that was a bad one for you, bro. I'll call him out as well, you know.
Flipping out. All right, this will be a good one, because I feel like, you know, from what I've heard from Jam about the Marshall team, there's some characters in there. So if you could pick 3 teammates, past or present, to go on a night out with, who would you choose and why?
Oh, good one, that. Gabriel Perrotta. I think you got to meet him, Jam, when you came. The bald goalkeeper.
I've actually never met him. He's down at Riverhounds now, isn't he?
Yeah. He's top. Like, he's one of those guys. He loves a would you rather. Like, he's stupid like that. It'll be dead quiet, and he'll be like, he'll tap me and say, would you rather some outrageous stuff or do this? And he's always pulling those out his ass. But he's good fun on the night out. And I think that's why Pittsburgh released him, to be honest. Too many fucking would you rathers. And anyway, him for sure. A Jetty, you know a Jetty, bro. A Jetty is life of a party, bro.
Any night out at Jetty's welcome.
For sure, bro. This guy always dancing, always smiling, everything.
Ghanaian Dom.
Ghanaian guy, yeah. He's top. And then Matthew, bro, because Matthew's funny. And Matthew would do some stupid stuff that I can rinse him for the day after. So I think that would be a good 3. But there's a couple good contenders in and around. You know, it depends what you want. Like, there's some guys who know people and can get you in good places, which is good. But I want to go down the avenue with 3 crazy guys who would have a good night. So those 3 for sure.
I like it. And just to wrap us up on a more wholesome one, what would you say is your biggest achievement so far in football?
Biggest achievement, as I said, Bittersweet. But going to the College Cup, probably the semi-final. The semi-final was nice. You know, my girlfriend was there, her family was there, playing in front of 10,000 people, captaining Marshall. Like, it's been a long journey, as I said, like coming as a nobody, coming in and working my way up, and you know, wearing that armband was special, and playing under Chris, who helped me so much along the way. And you've probably spoken a lot about Marshall boys and the Marshall fans on the episodes, because they are really special, and they do really live and breathe the program. And you know, Huntington's not the best area, so I think we give them that kind of that hope and that release from any stuff that's going on outside of it. And you know, we didn't know Huntington before we went, but I feel like after you're there for 3-4 years, you kind of, you know the story, and you understand why the fans love it so much.
But yeah, definitely agree. From what I see on all the socials, even the support for this podcast from the Marshall fans has been sick, and obviously that's all due to Jammer. So on that note, I'll pass you back to Jam.
Yeah, mate, I'm really happy you sort of rounded it off with that, mate, because it's one thing that I will never forget from my time, and I know you won't forget from your time, and every single player that goes through the program won't forget. The Marshall fan base is something special, like in whatever sport, but I think especially for men's soccer, it's felt more than ever, because we are a team by and large of people not from America first and foremost, and certainly not from Huntington, West Virginia. So to find a home from home and really feel like you've got a family, and let's be honest, at the vet, you've got at least 3,000 people screaming your name every single time you take to the pitch. So, you know, they are special. They are special, and you're right. But yeah, on that wholesome note, I think that's a good time to wrap us up there. And a Marshall heavy episode.
For sure.
For anyone that knows me, I don't mind talking about that place for as long as possible. I've got the old Matthew McConaughey hat on here.
Class that.
But no, I think Dom, I think you'll echo. We've enjoyed this one, haven't we?
A ton, man. Good banter. Started off on fire, giving him banter about London. Got deep into kind of the journey into Marshall. So now this is a good one.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I
it,
like
fellas.
that. I tell you what, I'm liking how guests are coming on here now, right? And I don't know if they're watching what's come before or not, but they're just a little bit happier just to dig their mates out a bit more, and I love it.
Agree. Let's keep that up.
For sure. But anyway, it's about that time where, once again, myself and Dom Bamford, thanks for coming on, mate. We've very much enjoyed it. And from the 3 of us, if you've made it this far, thanks ever so much for listening. You know, we appreciate every single one of you. And as I said at the beginning, if you've enjoyed what you've heard, or if you're on the YouTube and what you've watched, why haven't you subscribed? Why haven't you followed? Why haven't you liked every single piece of content that we've got out right now? There's plenty there. If you want to catch any previous episode, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon. You can watch us on YouTube, at the Backstick Pod on all social media platforms. I know TikTok's going through a little thing right now, but I'm sure we'll get that one sorted. But without further ado, once again, from the 3 of us, thanks ever so much for listening. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
So much. Peace.